Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Sports Stove Draft Show. Today, we've got a doozy for you. We are talking wide receiver rankings in the NFL Draft. We're focusing heavily on the guys up towards the top, first and second round kind of guys. Really, there's a lot of guys that I have very similarly graded, so we'll look at that as well. So today's episode presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Promo code STOVE15. If you punch that in at checkout, you get 15% off your purchase as well. And I would suggest that you try the Soul Survivor flavor. It's Korean barbecue. Phenomenal. Of course, my favorite flavor is bootleg and barbecue. But there's OG Hickory. There's Bourbon Franklin. There's all kinds of flavors. So check them out. RighteousFelon.com. Promo code STOVE15. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got tons of draft rankings and things coming your way from now all the way up until the draft. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start by giving you my rankings, and then I'm going to go through and talk about the top several guys here on the list. So at the top of the wide receiver ranking, I am still really battling with Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate. I have been Jordan Tyson all the way. He is number one on my board as a wide receiver, especially. He is the guy that I have had at the top of my wide receiver list all along. He is number 3 on my big board overall as well, by the way. I have only 3 wide receivers in my top 10. And so I've got Tyson as my number 1 wide receiver. I've got Carnell Tate as number 2 and Makai Lemon number 3. However you rank them, those 3 pretty much need to be your top 3. I'm watching as people are really just kind of falling off of Jordan Tyson. And I know there's injury concerns. And that's really the biggest thing that comes down to it is the injury, the history that he has with that. And I understand that. So if I was drafting, that's definitely something I would have to take into account as I research, study, interview, all that kind of stuff. I am not drafting. And so I'm looking just strictly at talent. And Jordan Tyson is, I think, the best talented wide receiver in the draft. So I've got him number 1, Tate number 2, and Lemon number 3. I was lower on Lemon throughout the year, but I've come back up on him a bit closer to where other people are as well. Again, he's the slot guy. It's a little different, but I think you really get into the wide receiver conversation when you get to number 4 and number 5 with the Titans and the Giants. Both need a receiver. And I'm starting to think that Tate will be the first receiver off the board. But I still think that Tyson is the guy that'll have the best career. That'll be the best receiver out of this class. So that's my top 3. That's kind of my tier 1. Tier 2, I've got Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion, and Zachariah Branch out of Georgia. These 3 guys, Boston's rising up people's boards, at least the professionals, whatever. I don't know about team boards, but he's got that crazy great size, 6'4", 209. So definitely keep an eye on that rise. Could he jump above one of those other 3? I don't think so, unless there's something with Tyson's injuries that look like it's a prolonged issue where Tyson begins to really fall. Boston's number 4 on the list. Concepcion is this guy out of A&M, and we'll talk about each of these guys individually, but just the playmaking ability, you just can't overlook them. Branch out of Georgia. Then after that, I've got another 4 guys kind of coupled together. Chris Brazel out of Tennessee, Elijah Surratt out of Indiana, Antonio Williams out of Clemson, and Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame. Malachi Fields is the high riser for me. He is the guy that I just am falling in love with the more that I look at. Again, great size, 6'4", 222, but everything that he gives with that is incredible. He's right now graded as a second rounder on my list, as is Brazel and Surratt and Williams. But Fields is a riser for me right now. Then after that, I got Chris Bell out of Louisville. He's a second round grade also. And then I go into third round grades. Jeremy Bernard, Omar Cooper, Jacoby Lane are all third round guys for me. And then Skylar Bell and Deion Burks are fourth round guys for me. So we won't break down all of those guys, but we want to break down several of them for you. So let's start at the top with Jordan Tyson. Again, 6'1", 195. Creates great separation. as he's playing. He is incredibly fast and smooth at the same time. Does great on deep balls as well, and does a great job tracking the ball. So on those corner routes and things like that, awesome. He creates space. He finds space against zones, all of those sorts of things. He's not the most physical, especially when you're going up to get the ball. So there's a little concern about that for sure. And to get off the press, he needs some work on that as well. So again, not a perfect person for sure, but I like him a lot. He's again my favorite. He's a vertical receiver, especially so if you're trying to find a fit for your team, that's kind of what you're looking at. I believe at the least in Jordan Tyson. Next, let's look at Carnell Tate, 6'3", 195. Great route runner. I think, last year I had Emeka Egbuka as number 1 on my wide receiver board, and a lot of people had him like number 3 on theirs. And I think what you see, the refinement of Emeka Egbuka, I think you see that in Carnell Tate also, just that professionalism, ready to go from day one. The issue is he's not explosive, which Emeka Egbuka, that was the kind of the concern about him too, right? Carnell Tate's not going to be your explosive guy, but he's your professional. He's got the brain for it. He can catch. He's very reliable catching the ball. He controls his body very well in the air. He's consistent with everything that he does. He can leverage the defenders really, really well. And then again, that brain and that ability to run pretty much every route on the route tree is what you're getting out of Carnell Tate. The reason why I have him below Tyson is because Tyson can be explosive and Carnell Tate is not that kind of player. But if you want to throw a comp out there, maybe Michael Pittman. So we're talking about high praise. We're talking about a very, very talented person. And Carnell Tate was going to be, I think, should be a top 5 pick, depending on what the Titans and Giants do. I think we have 2 to 3 wide receivers going. I think we have 2 receivers go in the top 10. That's what I think. And I think Makai Lemon is not far behind. So that's where I see him at. Makai Lemon, let's talk about him. Slot receiver, 5'11", 190. Everyone's saying Zay Flowers is the guy that he's no, I'm sorry, that's Zachariah Branch. I apologize. Getting ahead of myself. But Makai Lemon, super talented. Great after the catch. Very fluid. He's has no problem going over the middle. He's a very tough kid, even though he's not crazy strong. He could be a return guy too. In a league that is coming back around to the returners, he's a guy that can definitely do something in the return game as well. He's not he doesn't create a large catch radius. So it's a smaller radius to catch the football. The quarterback's he's going to have to be with an accurate quarterback, I guess is what I'm saying, when it's all said and done there too. And he can get thrown around a little bit because of his size. So maybe Josh Downs. We already used one Indianapolis receiver, so let's throw that one out there too. Just super talented, super athletic. The physicality is the part that you are concerned about, if at all, in the NFL. But again, he's number 10 on my big board, number 3 wide receiver in my rankings. I think he goes between picks 11 and 14 in the draft this year. So I really like them. I think all 3 of these guys, we saw this a couple of years back in the draft with Neighbors and Harrison and Thomas. It's all 3 of these guys are safe. If you draft one of these 3 wide receivers, you're going to be fine. They're going to work. So I think that's saying a lot, right, about those guys. All right, let's look at the other guys then, because a lot of people have talked about those 3, of course, as well. Denzel Boston, a lot of talk about him too. Very physical. Goes up and gets the ball. He wins those things. Strong hands. He's going to pull down any contested catch. He's there. The fades, the deep posts, all that kind of stuff. He's going to go get it. The frame is awesome. He knows how to use his body against the defensive back to go get the ball. His routes look really clean as well. His initial break, maybe even that initial burst, would be the con. It's not super fast to get off, but there's so much to like about him as well. And so he's your X receiver, Denzel Boston. He's going to go in the teens, maybe 20s. And he's going to make a team pretty happy, I think, as well. Casey Concepcion, he's one of my favorite guys. Just, again, so dynamic. You see this in Makai Lemon. You see it in Zachariah Branch. And for whatever reason, it's not talked about as much in Concepcion, but he is an elite athlete. Very great in the short areas, that quickness that he can use to create that separation in the running the routes. He's got all kinds of versatility with those jet sweeps or the short passes, the screens, all those kinds of slants, all that kind of stuff. He's not going to have any issue with those, and he's great against zones, finding that space and finding a spot to catch the football. Like Makai Lemon, his catch radius isn't massive, so you don't love that. And also because of his size, he can be out physicaled by some DBs, especially off the line. So that's something to watch. Maybe a good comp would be Jaden Reed in Green Bay. Very similar play style, play set to him there as well. And again, I like him. I think he's the 5th receiver, and I think that we'll see 5 go in the first round. So I think Concepcion, a guy like a team like the Bills, the Patriots, those kinds of teams are what I'm looking at for him. The other guys I want to mention, Zachariah Branch out of Georgia, again, smaller slot guy. Everyone says Zay Flowers with him. That's who he is. I'm a little lower on Branch than others. I have him as a 2nd round grade. I think that there is, or late 1st, early 2nd round grade. Home run speed. He adds so much in your return game. He can be your kick returner, punt returner. Separation is great. He is small. And again, that's just kind of it. He's just small. And so as you deal with that, many receivers have come through the NFL that were small and made it just fine. And I think that he could as well. So I do like Zachariah Branch, but I think I'm a little bit more tame on him than some people out there. Let's talk about Chris Brazel. I really like Chris Brazel. He's got great size as well. He's at 200 or a little over as well. Very smooth, very vertical. Great route runner, does what he needs to do in the route trees. He tracks the ball well. He knows where it is. He moves his hands at the right time. Great body control. He's very physical at the point of catch, and it's something that is undervalued, I think, that when it's important, you got to be able to do that, and Chris Brazel does it. After the catch is his weakness. He's not what you would expect. I think there's not consistency of that after the catch, making things happen, after the catch. So that's the one negative. That's why I've got him as a round 2 grade. There may be a Curtis Samuels kind of guy. That makes it sound worse than it is. I think he's better than Curtis Samuels, but in that range, of just really good wide receiver is going to make someone happy if he can be your wide receiver 2. If you're drafting Chris Brazel to be wide receiver 1, I think you've missed the point. But if you can get him to be wide receiver 2, then you're sitting in a good place, I think, there. Antonio Williams out of Clemson, another guy that has not had a great season. We talked about running backs, Nick Singleton, not a great season, but I still have him ranked really high. Antonio Williams is this guy that, and I think all these Clemson guys that had rough years, the offseason is going to be really good to them. So Antonio Williams is that 6 foot or 5'11", 190 slot receiver, is probably the best spot for him. Incredibly clean, sharp routes. Great against the zone to find those soft spots against the zone, and he catches the football, and he's incredibly competitive as well. His speed isn't what you want it to be. It's not elite. It's average for a wide receiver. And so athleticism is the question mark for Antonio Williams, not ability. And so depending on what you're looking for, I think a good comp would be Tyler Boyd. And if you look at Tyler Boyd in his peak, his peak is a wide receiver 2, but just solid. You could always count on him. Jacoby Myers might be another one who had a really good year once he got traded to Jacksonville this year. Those kinds of players that he comes in, he's not the star, but he is the guy that you look back on and go, man, I'm sure glad he's on our team. So I think Antonio Williams fits into that. Last one I want to talk about is Malachi Fields. And again, I said it, he's rising up my board. I absolutely love everything I'm seeing about him. 6'4", 220, very physical, big, huge catch radius, super strong, wins through contact, your red zone target. Like, this is the guy you want. I compare him to Jaden Higgins. Last year, got drafted by Houston, and he might even be a little bit thicker than Jaden Higgins. He is a little thicker than Jaden Higgins. So he's got the size. He has no issue going and getting the ball. Again, the speed is the question mark, right? It's not going to be great separation. It's not going to be elite speed, but it's going to be really, really good football. Allen Robinson might be another good comparison for him too. So there is a lot to like about Malachi Fields, and he's rising up my boards. I said he was my last. Just kidding. Let's talk about Elijah Surratt real quick out of Indiana, 6'2", 210, the national champion this year. And Omar Cooper had the sexy catches, but Elijah Surratt's the guy. Super tough, super reliable, catches everything, very physical, excellent body control. He blocks really, really well downfield as well. So those kinds of things, like what we talked about with Malachi Fields, it's not elite speed. So separation is a little bit more of a physical separation than a speed separation for him. Not crazy explosive, but again, super talented, a kind of guy that you notice on your team. If he's wide receiver 2, if he's wide receiver 3, you're in a great spot. If he's wide receiver 2, you're in a good spot. If he's wide receiver 1, I don't love that at the NFL level at this point in his career, at the very least. So that being said, the guys that I'm really just really big on this year, Jordan Tyson, Casey Concepcion, and Malachi Fields are the guys that I just think those are the guys that I want to go get. But I think that if you're looking for safe, then I think that along with those guys, I think Antonio Williams, you got to throw that in there. Elijah Surratt, Chris Brazel, those are those wide receiver 2s that'll come in and make your team better overall without being the superstar necessarily as well. The explosive guys are Zachariah Branch, Casey Concepcion, especially those two guys. Malachi Fields. No, not Malachi Fields. Why in the world? Makai Lemon. Gracious. Those are the explosive guys here this year as well. So there you go. There's the wide receivers. Tell me, what do you think? How do you rank Tyson and Tate? And why do I keep doing this? Makai Lemon. Why? Where do you rank those 3 guys? How do you rank them? How many receivers do you think go in the first round? I say 5. How many do you think go in the first round? Which ones do you think it should be? And what are the best teams that you think should be targeting wide receivers in round number 1, especially in this year's draft? You say, man, I could think a whole lot better if I had a good snack. Well, get you some Righteous Felon Jerky. RighteousFelon.com. The promo code is STOVE15. That'll get you a 15% discount, and you'll be able to think straight at that point. You'll be able to remember Makai Lemon's name as you close out an episode. All right, that's what you got to look forward to in the wide receivers. We did running backs before. We'll continue these positional rankings in the days ahead, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss anything there, the Sports Stove Media YouTube. And then on social media, make sure you follow us at Sports Stove. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where we'll post more content, things that are coming up, and other opinions, and so on and so forth from there. So thanks for watching. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe. Please follow the Sports Stove Football Show podcast, wherever you get your audio podcasts at as well. But we sure appreciate you tuning into the Sports Stove Draft Show. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.